Welcome back to another episode of Who Should You Choose, the video series where I go through the private videos, questions, and comments that help you with your hut lineup decisions. All right, so last night I uploaded a little bit of a late one, so we don't have as many comments for this video specifically, but I do want to start off because one of the most common things I get asked is, what would you do to change hut? And I think that is become such an overwhelming question now that when I get asked it, I actually don't know where I would begin. So I wrote down a few things that if I was in charge, and I'm going to say this with the background of trying to be realistic. I'm not going to say, I'm not going to come up with things that I just know have no shot of getting put into the game. So these would be the things that where I would start if I was in charge of Hockey Ultimate Team. So number one, when you come into the game, I think one of the things that's off-putting to a lot of players is the menus and the speed of them. And that sounds like we have become so just accepting of underwhelming performance that it's not even brought up if you were to list your 10 things that need to be fixed. I feel like menu speed and whatnot would be on the 10, but it would be number 7. It is simply, I can't imagine a brand new player coming over from Madden or MLB or FIFA, and you come in and you have this UI system that was legitimately the exact same in NHL 18 with the big blocks. They've changed the hub screen, so it's a little flashier. But when you move inside the menus, it is absolutely abysmal. We're talking seconds between each thing. I don't know how they fix that. I'm assuming it's got to be a teardown, and that's why they haven't. I've talked about this a lot, that there's a lot of things they want to get to. Let's say there's 100 things they want to put into the game. They reorder them in terms of importance, and then they work from that list, and they get to 9 of them. That's just the reality of a yearly game and a small dev team. And I feel like the menu and UI and HUT is probably on that list, just too far down every single year. But I can't imagine new players not being frustrated by it. It's absurd. And then you talk about the animations. I think the animations as well, when you open up packs, those need to adjust. Over the year, maybe don't have one for every single type of card. Team of the week is cool, but team of the week doesn't really mean anything unless you make team of the week mean something, which leads into my second thing that I would do, and that is completely change up the architecture and the way that we receive content. So how we receive content right now is we essentially have cards, and they are used as currency. We open up packs, we do objectives, we do all sorts of things in game to get cards. Coins are secondary. We get cards, and we use those cards as if they don't mean anything with the name or the player's face, and it's just the number overall. And if that number is not high enough, we disregard. And I think that's devalues the players a little bit in NHL. But I'm talking about the actual hockey players. So what I would do is go to a collection-based format. I don't like comparing everything to MLB because I think that's silly, but I think Madden does a lot of collection-based stuff, if memory serves, and maybe not. So essentially where I would start, and I've been saying this since I became a game changer in 2018, is if you collect a team, you get a good card. And that card is rare, that card is expensive to get, and I think now with the massive reduction in overall rewards that we get, and I don't mean the value of rewards. I mean that we don't get those massive pack dumps anymore that we did in 24 all the way back, right? We get maybe 10 packs a week, and they have at max 5 cards in them, but the cards in them are far more likely to pull. No one has pulled more purples than they have this year. I can confidently say that, right? Now, whether they matter more or whatever, but that to be said, I think that it would be harder to complete a collection because we're just receiving less cards, which means that it's not something that can just be blown through. It can be something that's worked towards. I think that if you collected every team, and I'm talking each individual player, okay? I'm not talking 2016, 86 and above cards or whatever. Based on the value of the team, So the Edmonton Oilers would be very expensive. That's the overall we get. If you collect the San Jose Sharks, you get in. I'm trying to think at launch. Okay, at launch, you would get an 83 overall Dan Boyle, or an 83 overall Patrick Marleau, or Joe Pavelski, or Ryan Clough. That would be sick. Okay, you complete the Edmonton Oilers, you get a 91 overall Mark Messier. You can see the differences there, right? Because it should be collecting like base McDavid is one of the chases early on for like the first month. Like you're making a couple 100,000 coins on a base McDavid card, right? And then you've got to get Draisaitl, right? For example, and every team scales based on what they require. And each one of those cards should have a captain bonus to it, so it rewards you to use more players from that team. Now, when you trade those cards in for that set specifically, they're account bound. Okay, now a lot of people will be like, yo, why? Wait, what do you mean account bound stinks? That is how account bound should work. If you trade cards in for a exponentially better card, I am okay with you getting all of those cards back, so base Connor McDavid, and they're account bound. That is how it should work. Because if they were untradeable, then you could double dip, right? Because then you could go and put them in other sets and things like that. And I don't think that would be good for the community. I don't think that would be good for the market and the economy of the game. I think that every minor league team should have it, you know? I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I'll use the Sharks again. So if you collect all the AHL Barracuda, you get an 80 overall, Yaroslav Askarov. And what would be necessary is that these cards would increase somehow. Whether it's +1 every month, I'm not sure. But they have to be sought after for a long period of time. Something that MLB does really well, I think, is they bring back, you collect, let's say, the San Jose Sharks, you collect the rest of the Pacific Division, and then you get a card based on that. So it would be like, it's at launch of the game, okay? You would get, 91 Wayne Gretzky or Mark Messier for completing the Edmonton Oilers. You get a 95 overall. I'm trying to think of a top end, Jack Eichel, like something for the Pacific Division. It doesn't have to be an alumni. And then if you complete the entire Western Conference, you get a 99. And this would be at launch of the game. Now, the problem is that the pay pigs would just dominate. But let's pretend. If someone spent $1,000 at launch of the game this year, you maybe got McDavid. Like, you have to go back and remember how crazy it was with the chase cards, and they wouldn't really be chase cards. It'd be like collection-based cards, but I don't know. I also don't think that that's really possible just in their format of what they want to do. Something else that I think would work, I talked about this a little bit, is that a master set player item from every event should boost other event player items so that it promotes using players from that event. We make these lineups. Team of the Week's the same way. Like if you make a full Team of the Week lineup or something along those lines, let us boost those cards, right? They should have some power to them. So the other thing would be to make cards a little bit more valuable. So Team of the Week, you only get 6 of them. They are far better than they were ever. And this might sound crazy, but I think we're looking at it with blinders on. Team of the Week used to perennially give completely ignored cards with a couple that were a little bit higher rated. This year, they're all usable at the start up until a certain point, and then we would need to figure out that point. Probably January, where like the not captain card is like not able to be on your team. Because I remember at like launch of Team of the Week, I was using like the Anthony Stolars, and then remember that Bedard or Fantilli, I think it was. Like that was actually cool, and they were good, right? But I think that would be, it'd be interesting to have boosts for Team of the Week or getting those cards. I think that would be pretty sweet. But on top of that, the Team of the Week cards, give them a free ability. Like, the non-captain cards should not have gold abilities. But if and maybe those, though, they get one free silver ability. Just one ability. Whereas the gold card or the captain card gets a free gold ability. Free abilities is an interesting tactic to provide significant value to cards. The other thing is to not give base cards any abilities, so that when you give out abilities, they're a little bit more valuable, right? Like every event should have an ability that kind of ties in with the event. And I don't think normal event cards should get free abilities. That would be silly. But the MSPs, you run into this issue where you make the strong cards too strong. And if you gave the MSPs abilities, like 4 of them or 3 of them, when not many cards get abilities, and then you also made them free, geez, that would be insane, right? Like, that would be insane. They need to figure out a way to bring back power-up icons and X Factors. I can't believe I'm saying this because I wasn't really a big fan of X Factors when they came out, the X Factor cards. But every team should have an X Factor card. Same thing. Give them. It should have a captain boost. I don't know. This year, like, Sammy Vatanen has an X Factor card. Like, there's only 2 releases. It is like they had this idea and then completely scrapped it. That's what happened. Like, I'm convinced of it. Like, it seemed like a lot of like, okay, here's what we're gonna do, and then they would just rug pull and do this random thing. Like, it makes no sense at all. The X Factors are a big one. You know, team builders, there's really no rhyme or reason. We only got 295 overall team builders, which makes no sense. Like, legitimately no sense at all. I just don't know where they're going with it, and we'll have to see. But the last thing I did want to talk about is wild card. I think for wild card specifically, it needs to be for online players. And I know a lot of offline players would be upset with that, but here's the thing, what I would recommend. Playing wildcard online should offer offline players an ability to, at no cost or no detriment, be able to play it. It should have stakes to it. So we asked for a draft style mode. This is not what we got. Like, this was nowhere near what people actually wanted, which is a big issue. So wild card wins need to matter. It should be get 8 wins, get a competitive Supreme Ultimate Chancellor pack, or whatever that stupid 30 win pack is in Rivals, whatever they called it. Give them that at the end. That's the best pack in the game. You get to 8 straight wins in wild card against other players that are at the same spot as you. You get that pack, right? Drafting only event players. The draft needs to make sense, and it needs to not have a salary cap, like, to the extent that it does. Like, I'm trying to think of the best way here. The bottom 2 lines should be all event cards, and then you should be able to select MSPs and in there. I don't know how to make it even. We should just be able to use all MSPs. You know, I'm not even super big on bringing your own cards, especially early on in the year, because the pay pigs just absolutely, you get supercharged McDavid in like the first week, which is nuts. 1 period games. So wild cards should be quick. It should be 1/3 the time of what a normal game is. These should not take a long time. You've got to play 8 to get 8 wins. 1 period games, okay? And then it's first to 2 losses. Now, the only issue here is that it takes so long to draft a team, but it would be you play until you lose twice, okay? And then you have to start your run again. That is what it should have been. Now, in BR and MLB, the issue is that it's not really a friendly mode for newer players, and I guess you could leave the offline wildcard path or the offline and just make it take a little bit longer, if that makes sense. And maybe the difficulty tiers it down like it kind of does. But we need to get out of the game. Play the game, 2-minute periods on rookie or whatever, set your controller down. I just did wild card, guys, and I legitimately pulled my goalie every single time and just did it like that, and it was so boring and monotonous. So those are some quick things. Again, they're not in super big detail, and usually in the summer I'll come up with a bigger one, but let's get into yesterday's questions. So the new XP Ilya Sorokin is a beast for only being 6'3". He's made so many crazy saves. Fantastic. He's been fantastic for me. I'd recommend anyone get him in the XP path and just give him a shot if you need a goalie. What you're saying about event cards going up an overall is basically what Madden does. Yeah, so like I said, the captain boost for having more event cards in your lineup, I think that'd be really cool. Hey, Sleeves, I had a question. Is it me, or when I get a very good player and I want to put it on the power play, I have to recreate the lineup? Sometimes it's long. You got to hit square X. I don't know why. It's so funny. For everyone that has played Hut, we don't think about this stuff. I don't know why it does not explain that. It is one of the most confusing, weird things. Like, if you were to sit your friend down, who's never played Hut before, it's like, hey, change your power play lineup. Do they sit there for like an hour? It's crazy. It's not forward facing. Again, this is a menu thing. Just fix them. The rewards in this game are so bad now. Thanks to all the cards having the same value, rewards are lame, boring, and make it hard to enjoy the little content there is. 286 is on the XP tree. Woohoo, 2,400 coins. The XP path this season, absolutely abysmal. Like, they are not seeing that when you scale +1 every event or every few events, it hits a point where it is so hard to pull a 92 as opposed to an 88, right? And they don't take that into account. So they didn't increase the rewards in the XP path, and it's just like, okay. So, and we are getting more purples than we ever have, which has diluted the market. The rewards of playing squad battle or online are also ass. You never get higher cards than 88 or 89. It's almost June. I only play the game because at this point I'm a sick, twisted addict. Any normal person would drop this game almost immediately because of how poorly the Hut team has managed the economy and accessibility to content. Even Wildcard has somehow gotten worse. At least there was a way to get funds to build MSPs. This week you can get 20% of the way to build an X Factor icon, both of which are not good in this game. Another fail of the Hut team or a low overall team builder. That is useless at this stage of the game. This would have been good reward in October, November. I said this immediately when it came out. The wildcard path. Great wildcard path for November. It's what it should have always been. It just would have been so good. I will say the team builder aspect, guys, in wildcard, if you just pull your goalie and let them score on you online, takes like 15 minutes, 20 minutes. You get through the wildcard path. The team builders, assuming they will do the exact same thing next week, you will have enough to get like a 92 overall, and that could be valuable to some. I don't know about the X Factors because, yeah, you're going to have to pay some to get the X Factors, and I don't think it's worth it. It's probably the cheapest it's ever been. I mean, it's got to be by far the cheapest it's ever been, but I don't know because they don't upgrade X Factors. That's pointless. So when buying X items in the auction house objectives are released, I immediately put every tradable bronze, silver jersey or logo for 1,200, and they sell pretty quick. And then I go ahead and buy X items for as cheap as I can to find to complete the objectives and turn around and sell those for 1,200. This is the way to go. So there is objectives every once in a while where it's like buy X amount of objectives. A lot of people complete the objectives, guys. I went and looked at the auction house for the first time in a while the other day, and the cheapest thing is 1,200 coins. Blew my mind because if you remember, like silver cards would go for like 600, or even gold cards would go for like 600 last year, and the economy is just so different now than what it was in the last decade. So what I would recommend, I said this in this video that I'm looking at the questions for, the sets. If you do those 5x78 on tradable sets in the XP path for 3 collectibles, just sell everything for 1,200 coins. It'll sell. You'll make 6,000 coins or whatever. And sometimes I pulled an 87 out of there. I mean, whatever. But that's like 5,000 coins per pack or 6,000 coins per pack. You can open 3 of them with 9 collectibles. That's 15,000, 18,000 coins. Whereas if you do the 87 and above, you're not getting that unless you pull like a 91 or something. So, haven't played Hut in 4 years. Can confirm. Sleeves tips got me to Div 2. My man. I have a bunch of 99 cards. Ovechkin, Svechnikov, and my tripping Michkov's 92 warp speed skates circles around other 99 cards. Guys, it's free gold wheels. Gold wheels does matter, and I don't know if they've somewhat fixed a little bit of the endurance issue or what, but even when you're using them, when you have a card that is 99 skating, 99 speed and excel, okay, and you have the puck, you are skating with 97 overall skating, or 96, it's 3%. You are skating with 96 overall speed. When you have 99 speed with gold wheels, you are skating with 99 speed. You will be slightly faster. It's hard to notice sometimes, but if, that's how, like the warp speed cards are just still so good to me. They're still so good, and a lot of people are so hung up. They're so hung up on the fact that it says 92 overall on the card. It is something that Ultimate Team games have taught us that, oh my God, we got to chase the thing that has a 1 overall slightly faster or better. Go play with the 96 overall Macklin Celebrini. He's 96 overall. He has 95 speed, 93 excel. I got to be honest with you. Like, the Warp Speed cards are so good. Just cycle in the zone is so boring and a rat type play. Brother, I don't disagree. I think that you have to have some concession as to if you want to be good at the video game. I get that being good at the video game does not mean that you're good at the sport, right? But when you're playing the video game, I'm not going to do the glitch wrap or the L2 down the boards because that's not a real hockey play. Puck possession, I mean, go watch, the first period of the Leafs against the Panthers in Game 7. Couldn't get out of their zone, So it's just like, it's not the most fun way to play, but at a certain point, you are just like you're playing a game at a high level, no matter what video game you choose, if you find the one where everyone is satisfied by the way you play and there's no glitches or cheesiness, let me know, brother. I mean, I think we're looking at like Warcraft or something, but even that is the same thing. Glad you seem a little more excited about the game. It makes me keep picking up the game. For good or bad, the new Clayton Keller and Cole cards for Utah. I know, I'm all in again, but you spread the hype sleeves. I've been experiencing delay in my game for a few weeks now, or a glitch. I'll open up packs, the sound animations are delayed. In-game responsiveness. It is try clearing your cache in game or like closing out and relaunching. I don't know what that is, but it's an absolute mess. So when does McDavid's team of the season go up? He's been 94 forever, brother. One of the biggest issues this year is the lack of consistent upgrades that make no sense at all. He is the best player on the planet, and it is an absolute mess. And I think going into next year, like I don't know if it's on purpose because they know that everyone saves for fantasy. They know that everyone saves for team of the year and team of the season. And that is all the savvy players do. They don't take part in the events. They just save for these events. And I personally have said that that's what makes Team of the Year kind of crappy, is that everyone just saves for it. They get 5 or 6 cards locked in their lineup, and then they're stuck to, why aren't these cards getting upgraded? Unfortunately, this is what it is. When it comes to upgradable cards next year that require the Hut team to release an upgrade for it to go up, not fantasy. Fantasy is dependent on real life performance. No way am I investing. Maybe they'll get me next year, but no way I'm investing. And part of me thinks it's just them trying to bust the cycle. So they're doing it on purpose so that next year, when you see team of the season or team of the year, you're like, I'm not saving for all of this because what's the point of having multiple? But then it's like, wouldn't you want them to be stoked for? I don't know. Anyways, so that's going to do it for this episode of Who Should You Choose. Thank you guys again for watching. I'll see you next episode. Have a good one.